Ooh. Hey guys, so today I have a really special video for you. I'm hoping this is going to be the first of a few videos that I want to do for you guys. It's coming, guys. It's coming next week. It's the final episode of Supernatural ever. And if you've been on this ride with me for a little bit, you'll remember a very early video that I did where I reacted to the news of Supernatural ending. Cue that little bit. And I'm also going to talk about the inevitable end of the Supernatural TV show. It was just announced a few days ago that they're finally ending Supernatural with this season next year, so season 15. When this was announced, I got really upset, and I'm still very, very upset. It's just a show I never thought would actually end, because it has been on for so long, for 15 seasons. I don't know, you just never think that the show is gonna end. Oh man, I'm getting upset. It's just gonna be weird not having like any new episodes really around this time next year of Supernatural. I'm gonna be very, very sad next year when it ends. If I'm sad now, I know I'm gonna be really, really sad when it ends. Obviously, I was super upset. Rightfully so. It's so crazy to think that being 29 years old and this show has been on since 2005. It's been on longer than half of my life. That's insane. I just wanted to do a couple of videos for you guys to commemorate this time in 2020. So today's video, I'm going to share with you my top 10 favorite dramatic episodes of Supernatural. I have a couple of honorable mentions too. I'm also going to do a video, which you'll see after this one, of my top 10 favorite like fun Supernatural episodes. I like to think that Supernatural has literally two types of episodes. Really dramatic ones that push the storyline ahead for Sam and Dean, and then they have really fun episodes in between. Without further ado, my number 10, the monster at the end of this book. This is the episode when the boys find out that their whole life has been written in books, and they meet Chuck, the prophet. And that's just a really fun episode, and it definitely lays the groundwork for seasons and seasons to come. My number 9 is the pilot. It's so good, it's so iconic. You don't really get much better than just how Sam and Dean came to be in like the most minuscule amount of backstory, but I mean that lives on throughout the whole series. And the iconic line, saving people, hunting things, the family business. And my number 8 is from season 2 called Heart. And this episode is just so special to me. I remember watching this live with one of my good friends in high school, and she was a Sam girl. I'm a Dean girl, clearly. Seeing Sam finally open up to a woman after the loss of Jess, them having to kill her because she's a werewolf, and Dean's single tear coming down at the end while they're playing Silent Lucidity.
I can't.
And number 7 is In the Beginning, and this is when Dean goes back to 1973 to find Mary and John, and we basically find out at the end, I'm not going to give like a whole synopsis of every episode, but you basically find out at the end that Mary makes a deal with the demon to save John's life, and that's why the whole thing happened to begin with that got them into this business. But really, you find out that she's been in the business this whole time. She was a hunter before John was, and it's so wild. So I really love those flashback episodes. It really shows a lot of backstory with Mary and her family. And the next one is Abandon All Hope, and this is the unfortunate, horrible episode where Ellen and Joe die. And I still cry seeing this episode. Seeing them sacrifice themselves to help Sam and Dean stop the apocalypse, and it just gets me every time. And I really wish Ellen and Joe were still around because they were badass. And number 5 is from season 6, episode 15. This is a classic. If it's not on your top 10, are you even a Supernatural fan? And it's called The French Mistake, and it's the episode where the boys are transported to a time and place where they are Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki, and they are on a TV show called Supernatural. Brilliant.
Brilliant.
The show is so meta sometimes that it really just works, and there's not many TV shows that can pull off the amount of meta that this show gets. Seeing his real life wife, who plays Ruby in the show, and them thinking that it's Ruby, hysterical. And my number 4 is the season 5 finale, and this was what Eric Kripke intended the show to end. It resonates so much with me because it really was just such a emotional episode. You know, Dean losing Sam and then going and doing what Sam asked him to do, which was to go be with Lisa and have a real life, and for, you know, leave hunting behind and just enjoy his life with the family that he wanted. I really could have seen the series ending there. The first 5 seasons of this show are just absolutely brilliant, and they will always hold a very special, unique place in my heart above the rest of the show. It was very hard for me to go from season 5 to season 6 knowing that the creator went, and I think they had a little bit of like growing pains between season 5 and season 6, just transitioning into the show without Eric Kripke, and I was just so against it at the time, and I really thought it was just such a brilliant ending. But then they really like stepped it up, and you know, I got back into the show, and it's just brilliant. But that finale is honestly still, we haven't seen the series finale, so I won't say it's my absolute favorite yet, but that is my, as of right now, my favorite finale of any season of this show. And number 3 is season 2 episode 1, In My Time of Dying, and this is after their horrible accident, and Dean is in a coma, and he's with a, what we find out is a Reaper, walking around trying to communicate with Sam, saying he's stuck, can't get out of this coma. And then at the end we find out that John makes a deal with the yellow-eyed demon to save Dean's life. Just seeing John go so fast after only having him for a couple of episodes in season 1 was just devastating, and I mean, who doesn't want more Jeffrey Dean Morgan in their life? And my number 2 is from season 11 episode 4, and this is called Baby. This episode took place entirely around the Impala, and it is one of the most brilliant episodes of television I think I've ever seen. That car is basically its own character in the show, and that's why this entire episode works so well. And you see the backstory, and you see how Sam and Dean made that car their own, and it's their home. They never had a home, and that car truly is their home. It's a beautiful episode. And my number 1, you guys, depending on how this series finale goes, I still don't think it's going to, I don't want to say that, but I still don't think, there's some part of me deep down, there's still some part of me that is not going to surpass this episode. My number 1 is from season 14, episode 13, and that's Lebanon. And it was the 300th episode of the show, and they brought John back, and
Oh, I'm getting emotional.
I'm getting emotional. Just knowing that Dean's wish was to like have John back, and his family back, and wow, I need to like not cry. This is ridiculous. But just seeing them as a family together and having a meal and just being with each other, and then seeing John have to leave, that episode makes me cry every single time. It's so emotional. I'm so glad that they did that, because Sam and Dean really deserve to like have their family together for one episode. Just seeing the 4 of them together for the first time as all adults, it's just a beautiful episode, and that's my number 1 forever. Unless the series finale is like so mind-blowing that it can beat that, but I don't know. But my honorable mentions, I just want to like mention these like really quick. I don't want to get like too crazy into it, but I did want to mention season 8 episode 12, As Time Goes By, when they are first introduced to the Men of Letters and find out that they are part of the Men of Letters. And then season 2 episode 20, What Is and What Should Never Be. This episode is just one of my like go-tos when I want something comforting. I don't know why it's so comforting, it's kind of upsetting, but Dean being captured by the djinn and seeing what his life could have been, and like him not being close to Sam, and but his mother's still alive, but his dad is dead, the whole thing. It's emotional, but it's just like, it's a comfort food episode for me. Season 15, episode 18, Despair. Here's the spoilers, guys. Put in the timestamp here. So let me tell you, the whole show, I liked him, but it wasn't like, oh my god, wow, love him so much, would die for Castiel. Till this episode, him giving that monologue about love and friendship and learning how to love by meeting Dean and being with him and Sam and Jack, and then sacrificing himself to save Dean, and like knowing this was the moment he was gonna go to the empty. I don't think I've ever sobbed harder during a supernatural episode other than Lebanon. Castiel dying and sacrificing himself for Dean. If that's any indication of what is to come the next 2 episodes, I'm scared. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. The next one is season 5, episode 16, Dark Side of the Moon. This is when the boys have to go to heaven to go to the Garden of Eden, and they end up visiting little pieces of their heaven and their best moments in their life. It's such a beautiful episode. I immediately just think of like the fireworks scene with Dean and younger Sam. And the last honorable mention I'll mention is season 7, episode 10, Death's Door, when Bobby is in the coma and you get to see more of his backstory, and he's basically like reliving his life as he's dying, and then he dies at the end, and that was just horrible. So yeah, those are my honorable mentions. So that is the conclusion to my favorite episodes. As of right now, I'm gonna put like an asterisk to the list, because the next 2 episodes, the last 2 episodes, might change that list. Who knows what we're in store for. I would love to hear your guys' top 10 or even top 3, whatever you want to send me. I really want to hear what your favorite supernatural episodes are, your favorite dramatic episodes, because the fun ones are a different one. I want to hear your fun ones on the other video. So thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video, comment what your favorite episodes were. I'll see you next time, guys, and family don't end in blood, and flaunt it till you haunt it. Bye.